Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Welsh Republic Podcast, episode 116 today. And I am here with my guest, Keanu Thompson. How are you doing today, Keanu?
I am well. I cannot complain. Thank you so much for having me. Oh my gosh, this is so fun.
You're welcome. So what have you been up to today, Keanu? Anything much?
Today, I had a lot of, what did I do today? I work at a bar 2 days a week. In the day, I'm a terrible bartender because I just am. But somebody needed coverage, so I covered for them today, and then I came here. Last night, I had 2 podcasts. I did the recap of Chrissie Mayr's wedding. We had it was Chrissie Mayr, Gino, and
Anna, that Star Wars girl, Marshall, Lindsay,
Lindsay, yeah. So
also a few other people appeared. Carl from Who's Those Podcast appeared. It was a good fun. Sounds like you guys had a really good fun. I saw the photos of the wedding, and also, can I just say, congratulations to Chrissy and Frank. I think you guys are an absolutely adorable couple. I wish you guys all the best. God bless you too, and happy marriage to you too.
Aren't they the sweetest? And let me just say, that was the funnest wedding of maybe all time. And I don't get invited to a lot of weddings. I have that was like the first. Actually, if I'm thinking about it, that's like the first friend wedding I've been invited to. So I've been invited to cousins' weddings but it was insanely fun. It was a bacchanal. My God, Bisconti knocked someone during karaoke.
Oh my God, that was freaking hilarious.
It was worth it all just for that. That we were talking about the peak and the pit of the wedding on the stream last night. The peak and the pit of an event is like the peak of the wedding and the pit of the wedding. I believe Bisconti arrived. I'm gonna get in a second.
Sure.
But the peak and the pit of, I can't even think about anything else in the wedding, because whenever I watch that video of him knocking poor Joe Curry down, and thank God he's okay, and I'll play it here if you want. Whenever I watch that video, I will never be depressed again. I will never know sadness again because of this video. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Pause 1 second. Bisconti.
No worries, that's all good.
One second.
I'll just say that. So she's just letting in Gino. So hello, Z. How are you doing today, Z? Anything much? See you, ladies and gentlemen. We're just getting the show. As you can see, Chrissie Mayr had her wedding. It was a very fun wedding I saw. From the looks of things, it was very good. And yeah, Keanu's a comedian. She does a lot of comedian work. She's also friends with a lot of the Compound Media people. And yeah, and as you can see that she's back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Keanu.
Hello. Yes, I'm a comic. Bisconti's here. Hello, love. Jesus. Yeah, I do a lot of the.
Does he want to come say hi? He can come say hi if he wants.
He will. He'll be here. You're gonna come say hi, yes?
Yeah, as long as I'm not...
He will. He cut his hair in the shower.
He's very busy. Oopsie daisy. But yeah, it just seems to me. What would you say, was your most favorite moment of the wedding?
When he knocked poor Joe Curry out of the chair. That was 100% my favorite part. No, the best thing was Chrissy looked so beautiful.
Hey,
there he is.
I put a headband on for you, buddy. Pleasure.
We just started.
Oh, all right. I'll get out of the way. That was her favorite part of the wedding. That's a favorite part of her year so far, as I can tell.
Oh my God! You guys must have been laughing so hard at that.
No, the whole wedding was absolutely. Chrissy looked so beautiful. It was in such a beautiful venue. The night before was amazing. And then all the hard, heavy hitters were there. I mean. It was Zia, whatever, Amy, Brittany Venti was there, and her betrothed.
And that Star Wars girl, Brittany was there. And also, let's not forget Melanie Mack's, famous catch where she caught, the flowers. What a moment!
Oh my God, iconic! It was iconic. And then my pit of the wedding was how fucking ridiculous I look in that video, because it's like. I get embarrassed by things. I'm an anxious person. I couldn't have looked more like I wasn't trying, which not to I know you're
trying. You want to do this right now on the podcast?
He's teasing.
I'm humiliated. You needed to throw elbows. You gotta want it more, Thompson. I'm sorry, you're doing a podcast.
He said you gotta want it more, Thompson. And I was like this.
She just wanted it more.
I get embarrassed by group activities. I was like, there's no way I'm catching this bouquet. There's no way. And I was like, I told her last night, because she was on the stream. You should watch it. Chrissie Mayr's YouTube, the recap of the wedding. I was like, you should create like a go-to video on YouTube about how to catch a bouquet. Stand behind all the desperate girls, dive through them, knock it up in the air, swoop through and catch. That's like, I feel that's how she did it. And when I was like, it was so embarrassing.
Oh my God, that would have been a lot of fun. But you know, Chrissie, like I was saying, she looked very pretty in her dress. Frank looked incredibly, handsome in his dress. And that video where Lila, showed of them like
Lila, shout out Lila. Oh my God, she's the best.
She's really, really sweet. It was that video where you saw, Lila, when you saw Chrissie and Frank dancing with each other, like To the Power of Love by the singer, whatever her name is, was a beautiful moment.
Celine Dion, yes. Dion. Visconti and I, okay, so we were watching that. We were all standing around. And then when she started dancing, when they did the father-daughter dance, and then Frank was dancing with his mom, and they played Sweet Child of Mine, Visconti and I were like weeping. We were literally weeping. It was so embarrassing.
Is that like a childhood favorite of Chrissie's, that song is, or is that yours?
Sweet Child of Mine, I think they picked it to like it's like a hit
song by Guns N' Roses, but it was a cover by a woman singing it, so it was a beautiful edge to it that you didn't expect.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
I see. So fair enough. Yeah. So adding that cover makes it pretty fancy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. No, we were weeping. It was. We were terrified Visconti was going to propose to me at the wedding, but he knows better. That's what I heard after the fact.
The bouquet next time.
You two. Speaking of like how Chrissie and Frank are a really cute couple, you two are a very cute couple.
Aren't we, Steve?
Very, very cute couple.
One of us is doing all the heavy lifting. I'll tell you that much, Keanu.
He's so mad about the bouquet thing. I was sitting at the table. Let me tell you, I was sitting at the table. I'm like, I'm not going up there. They're like all the they play all the single ladies. Like I'm like, I'm not doing that. No way. He's like, get up there, do it. And I was like, okay. And then I don't know who did the podcast on it. Do you know, Visconti?
What's that?
The 40-minute replaying of the bouquet catch.
Some guy named AZ.
His name is
Australian.
AZ. He's Australian. He did a 40-minute like play-by-play of the bouquet catch, and I couldn't look more unenthused. It was the most pathetic thing. So
he sounds like he was drunk to be obsessed with that, man. There's some weird people on the internet, man.
It's actually hilarious, but at the same time, I'm like, God, you gotta really wonder, like, what the fucking. No matter what you do, you're with a bunch of YouTubers, somebody's going to pick out everything. And then what did I do? For 3 hours on Keanu Cast, you can see it on YouTube, Wednesdays at 6. I, for 3 hours, replayed the video of Visconti knocking poor Joe Curry down. So in slow motion, we went back, forth. We had, we had a panelist. We had Joe on the show, Joe Curry. You can see him tomorrow night. Where is he? Not that anybody. Where is Joe Curry tomorrow night?
The Old Mill Tavern.
The Old Mill Tavern. You can see Joe Curry at the Old Mill Tavern.
Like that.
Yes, but that's what people do. We have nothing better to do with our lives, I suppose.
I got a friend here called Z Highness. She's a very good friend of mine. She wants to say hi. She says hi.
Hello, my love.
And also she says hi to Gino. Gino Ziona says hi, by the way.
Ziona says hello. He says hello.
Hey.
So how did you and Gino meet each other for the first time? Where did you guys meet?
He won me in a card game.
I was going to say that joke.
I'm teasing. He always says that. No. Well, when I first, how did we meet?
I can answer that one.
Answer.
Ta-da!
I just saw him.
I wore her down.
He wore me down. No, we met. We were both with people. We met at Compound Media, where we both know Chrissie from, right? So we're all comics in the city. This is before the pandemic. I was doing.
Morning is when I met you.
I was doing Bill Schultz's Morning with Joanne Nosachinsky / Goodhart and Bill Schultz. And that's when I met him. And then we went across the street and had a drink. And I've known him. That was 5 years before we were together, even though. But we've been boning the whole time, kind of in secret, on and off. And that's how I met Chrissie and him. And we were always kind of with people. And then, I don't know, almost a year ago, we were like, maybe we should just date each other, right?
You said, why do we keep dating assholes?
Oh, I said, why do we keep dating assholes when we just like each other? So.
And what did I say, baby?
Okay. Tell them.
She says, because we're talking about the losers we're with. And she said, why do we keep dating losers? Why don't we date each other? And we're in a bar and I'm like, dude, I'm 53 at the time. And I'm like, I'm a 53-year-old man.
Dude, you don't look 53. You look like you're 35.
It's the HIV. It really just stunts everything. But I, honest to God, I'm a grown man in the bar and I go, I'm 53. Will you be my girlfriend? I said that out loud and I'd never said, and she goes, yes. And that was it. Yeah. And she hasn't wised up. Oh, you're right here. And smartest move I ever made.
See, he actually said, I don't know how do you ask somebody if they're how do you make somebody your girlfriend? I said, just ask me. Just say the words, do you want to be my girlfriend? He said, do you want to be my girlfriend? And I said, yes.
Oh, that's so sweet. Can I just say, like I was saying, Gino, he just said how he's probably he would be maybe 56 now. Can I just say that Gino actually looks like he's 35 years old and you actually look 6 years younger than what you are, Keanu. You look much younger than what you are.
He's so funny because he's obviously adorable and he has the I feel like I'm more tired than he is at all times. I'm he wakes up happy every day. I wake up happy because he's with me, but I'm a grumpier Grinch than he is. He's let's hang. I'm you're 54. Calm down.
Every morning when she wakes up, she acts like it's some plot. The sun rose again. Why is this happening to me?
I know, right?
Oh my God.
I know. Are you betrothed? Do you have a lady or a man or anything?
Oh, well, that's a bit of a. 5 years ago, I think 3 years ago, I was dating a girl, but after that, I just gave up with dating. It's just nowadays, it's so difficult, and it's just. I've been kind of off and on, but yeah,
I love that just, about you. You're live alone, lone wolf. When it happens, it happens. And I think that's the thing that you should do, because if you go looking for it, that's why I never ever dated people or anything really, because if you're I want a boyfriend, I need to find a boyfriend or a husband, I'm this, that, whatever, then you're not going to end up with the right person. So somebody's going to walk into your life, or you might meet them on a stream or whatever, and then you'd be like, oh, this works, it clicks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. a lot of the time with me, Keanu, I kind of am not very confident in myself. Like, it took me a while for me to show my face on camera. Like Lila Hart's husband and Eric, who I really thank, for giving me the courage. Also, I give, Ashton Brady.
He is the sweetest. Oh
I
my
also
God.
give credits to Ashton Brady for helping me, encourage to show my face for the first time, because she's like a role model to me. But I don't know. I just have this confidence because people say, "Oh, Welsh, you're a good-looking guy," and then I say, "No, I'm not," and it's just
I totally understand. You remind me, we were talking earlier before we went live. You're like fucking Jude Law or something. That's what I swear to God. That's the.
He's a handsome son of a bitch.
He's very handsome.
You compliment him one more time, there's going to be problems.
And the accent, you come to America. Have you ever been? You haven't been here yet.
I've only been to Hawaii. I've only been there before,
Well,
I mean, I'll love to go to America one day. I mean, New York is a bit dangerous, but I love to go to Florida and Texas. Absolutely beautiful.
You will clean up. You're a handsome man. Do not, but I totally understand that, because I'm a nervous wreck of a human being. I have social anxiety. I feel like nobody ever wants me around. But what you have to tell yourself is they do want you around. And you're not that horrifying of a monster. Clearly, you're a good-looking man, right?
Thanks for that. I really appreciate that.
It's true. I always feel like a horrifying monster. I never know why anybody wants to hang out with me. Right?
So you and Gino are cool. I don't think you should say that about yourself. But anyways, going on to that topic. So let's talk about, before we actually get onto this topic, what actually happened with the cake incident at Chrissie's wedding? What was that about?
I'm still not altogether sure. So are you sure what happened? Because there was two things. Chrissie's brother, and I know that he won't hear this because he doesn't watch anything she does, let alone what I do. Chrissy came up to our table. Chrissy's brother, and he has kids. And she always just talks to our brother like he's just not really aware of what's going on. They were leaving before like the entrees even come out. Chrissy's brother and the kids. And they were like, "Can we get a piece of cake to go?" And she was like, "We haven't even cut the cake yet." What do you mean take a piece off of the back of it?
Who says like, "Oh, can I have a cake to go at the wedding?" Who says that? That's like actually really, really rude, to be honest. Like,
who says that in general? Number one, who says it before they've even cut the cake?
Oh my God.
Chrissy's like, "What do you want me to do? Like, first of all, your kids are like my ring bearer, my flower girl. Like, you realize how a wedding goes, right? We haven't cut the cake yet. That whole like thing hasn't happened, but you're ready to leave. But then you have the audacity to ask me for a piece of cake." She's like, "No, we haven't done that yet." That was one thing. That's all I am really 100% sure about. Then there was some sort of other debacle with the cake during karaoke, but I was too busy to understand that because of Gino knocking down poor Joe Curry. But from what I've gathered, somebody took a box of cake that was meant for someone else, and then someone thought that the cops were called because of that. It was a drunken thing. That's the only thing I can say. I still am not altogether sure.
Oh, I can imagine that. That's like really, really rude. Oh, I don't know if this is actually my mum, but if it is, thanks very much, Mum. I really appreciate it. I don't know if it actually is, if it is my backup account. If they're, I don't know what's going on, but anyways, hi, Mum.
Oh, I was his mom.
But yeah, I mean, I also heard about Lindsay getting into some, debacle about like with the hotel management too. What was that about?
Oh, there were a few things. Okay. So the first night there was so me, Lindsay, Marshall, there was like a cabin. So in the cabin, Gino and I in a room, Lindsay and Marshall in a room. Do you know Anthony Cumia, obviously, right?
Yeah, I know Anthony Cumia.
And Missy were also in a room. Cumia hadn't arrived yet. Whatever, Amy and her lovely Dan in a room. Who else was there? Gigi and Mike, if you know Gigi Dior. Yes. So
Gigi Dior, she's very pretty. She is.
Oh my God. And she's just, those two are just the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. So the first night, if this is what you're talking about, there could be two things. Mm-hmm. The first night that we're there, we get back. Marshall is passed out to the world, and every room in the cottage has their own key. So it was very easy to get locked out of your own room. Marshall was so passed out. We were in there taking videos of him. I'll send you the video if you want it. But like, we were taking videos of him. You could not wake this man up. So then Lindsay comes out to hang out with us, and she had locked her key in the room. And we were knocking on the door, knocking on the window. There was no waking him up. She was locked out. It was like probably 3:00 in the morning. And then
tell you, sounds right.
Who said the funniest line of the Carl from one of these podcasts says, there is no person less likely to wake up than Marshall right now.
And I said,
and
in the world?
He
goes, yes.
Yes, in the entire world. Which is so true. And then Lindsay's like kind of like getting distraught and crying. I'm like, and I'm going, I'm just gonna call the front desk. They're going, it'll never work. It'll never work. It's a mile away. I'm like, they still can't wrap their brain around it. I called the front. I looked up where we were staying. I called. I said, can we have a key to this cottage, this room? The guy was there on a golf cart in 3 minutes. You would have thought I walked on water. They thought like, oh my God, like how
it was like the moon landing.
It was the moon landing. I'm like, Jesus God, these people. The second thing was that she left her watch. Somehow she left her watch, her Apple Watch there. And they're like, no, you're going to have to come back and get it. Is what I gathered from last night's stream, right, Conti?
I still am not sure, but yeah.
See, we all have our own like strange perspectives. And even though that we were literally talking about it, she left her Apple Watch. And it's an Apple Watch. Like, you can tell whose it is. They still won't give it back to her. She has yet to find it. The third, there couldn't have been another management issue, right? What were you thinking? What did it sound like to you?
Oh, it sounded like to me they fooled her around for so long, and Lindsay had every right to be annoyed with them. That's such poor management, especially like how when they say that they were going to clean the room, and then 30 minutes they're like, oh, actually, no, the room is not clean yet. Oh my God.
Oh, that too. Okay, so there's 4. Yes. Well, that was the very beginning. Oh my God, we all got there. And Chrissie, there was one moment somebody told me, so a lot of our rooms weren't ready yet, so we did have to wait a little bit, which is fine. Me and Visconti will just drink. Chrissie went up to them. Jim Stansel, do you know who Jim Stansel is?
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's the guy with like the funky looking hair and stuff like that.
Yes. So he was the flower boy, which was supposed to be a surprise to everyone, which it was. But she wanted to give him like stuff. She wanted to know what room he was staying in. So she went up to the front desk before the wedding because nobody knew that he was going to do that. All of a sudden, MGMT came on before Chrissie came out. It was Electric Feel, I think. And Jim comes out in fucking booty shorts and with a fanny pack that said flower boy. And he was throwing things around, which was hysterical. But before that, I think Chrissie just wanted to talk to him. And she was like, I need to know what room Jim Stansel's in. They're like, we can't legally tell you that. She said, I'm the fucking bride. I am the fucking bride. Why can't you tell me that? He's in my fucking wedding party. You really can't tell me that? So they were not the kindest staff, but then Gavin McGinnis, do you know Gavin McGinnis too?
Yep. I've heard of him. The one
he was wasted. He broke into
and also he did the funny thing with Lila's photo. You know, the one where
he took his... No, so there was a lot of management issues, but I mean, there was really nothing. We had to wait a little while to get in our rooms. The keys were sort of an odd situation, but I can't think of what else Lindsay would have. She left her Apple Watch there, and for some reason they're holding it hostage. That's the last thing.
Oh, God, that must have been, irritating.
Yeah, I know. Wait. She seems all right about it, though.
By the way, one person who you spoke to yesterday wants to say hello. Hello, the Front Porch Conservative.
Oh, Front Porch Conservative. Hello, my love. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
He says this has the potential for Hilarious to ensure hail to the Queen of
good aesthetic, yes.
Aesthetic, hail to the Welsh Republic. Yes. Thank you very much, Front Porch Mate. You're a very good guy, and he's very cool. I've been on his show before. He's very cool. He is.
He is so great. I'm gonna have him on my show too. And also, you are more than welcome. You better get over your shyness. You're gonna be a panelist on Keanu.
Thanks. So I really would appreciate it. That sounds cool. Keanu, so we've talked a bit about Chrissie's wedding. Why don't you tell us about yourself? Like, what is your how did you become a comedian? Tell us about your journey into becoming a comedian. And what would you say was your, favorite comedian that you looked up to, who was like a role model to you when you were on your journey to becoming a comedian?
It's a good question. Well, first of all, I think all comedians, whether marginally or severely or mentally ill, to some degree. So we all have some sort of trauma, or if you're not really a great comedian or a very funny one, then you have this thing where you think you can really do it. But being funny with your friends is different than being funny on stage. Being funny on a podcast is different than being funny on stage. I was a theater major, which is a useless degree, completely useless. And I'm not a great actress. I was never going to be on Broadway. They told me soap operas were my thing. I said, did I need to come to college for you to tell me that that's all I should aspire to? But I had one teacher in college, David Lee Nelson. He's dead now, the late, rest in peace. He was a comic here for 10 years and then came back to College of Charleston to teach. And he said, I wrote for him. I was in one of his first plays. He always reviewed my writing, and I took a bunch of his writing classes and solo performance classes. And solo performance is sort of like stand-up, except it's different, where it doesn't have to be punch, 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 laugh, laugh, laugh all the time. It's long form. It can be sort of an arc. I took his class on that, and he said, he came over to my house. He was like, I know you're moving to New York with your friends. I really think you should try stand-up, because he did it here for 10 years. And I went, and then I think the first week or two I was here after I got settled in, I tried it, and then I just never looked back. I never looked back at acting or anything. Not that I wouldn't act. I'm sure I could act, I guess, a little bit, but I have to thank him for that. And then, you meet people, and somewhere along the road, I got involved with the Compound Media people. Kevin Brennan, that was the first show I did over there, Burning Bridges. Yeah. And I realized I'm a big Howard Stern fan. I realized I liked podcasting so much. And
did you like any British comedians back in the day?
I couldn't tell you one except for Ricky Gervais. Could I? No, I don't. Who are your favorites?
Oh, my favorite one. I really like Eddie Lizard before he went a bit woke. He was really funny. Billy Connery was pretty good. Peter Sellers, he's absolutely hilarious. He is from the Pink Panther back in the day. And yeah, they're pretty good. What would you say, like, who did you say your favorite comedian was again when you were growing up?
Oh, no. Okay. Well,
The one that you just mentioned.
Jesus' Magic with Sarah Silverman is my favorite, maybe stand-up special ever.
What would you say was what would you say in that skit was your favorite joke that she made in that?
Oh God. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, it's like kind of an untoward joke. She says this do you know Sarah Silverman at all?
Yeah, I've heard of her.
This Jesus Magic. It's like a very small. It's like years ago. It might have been the only stand-up special I watched, like when I was a lot younger. She says there's this Mexican woman, and she comes up to me on the street, and she says to me, and she was so sincere. She goes, "I'm Mexican, and I don't smell." And then she goes, and it was so adorable and whatever, but I felt bad because I had to explain to her, you can't smell yourself. And it's a horrifying, like, I don't even know if that joke would like play today. I don't even know if you could tell that joke today, but I always remember it because she dragged it out for 5 fucking minutes about this, and it was fucking awkward. But I always loved her, and I've actually done shows with her. The nicest lady ever. She's very very woke nowadays. But
with Sarah Silverman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I have.
Wow, that was really cool. What's she like in real life? She a nice person?
Oh my God, I was at the Comedy Cellar. Actually, I got put on a show there. I'm not past there by any means, but I've done a couple shows there thanks to Dave Juskow, and Sarah came and she was trying out jokes, and they're very good friends. She sat down with me and was like, "Oh my God, it's so good to see women in comedy." And she's like, I'm so nervous. She brought a notebook up with her, and actually her newest special, I recognized some of the jokes from that show that she was reading out of her notebook on her new special, actually. That must have been, it has to be more than a year ago. So she's been working on it for a long time. But yeah, she's always been one of my favorites. Any other favorite comedians? I've Artie Lang, because I love Howard Stern. Yeah, I don't have a lot of female ones, but Sarah Silverman always sticks out in my mind. But people love her, hate her now, because she's not politically
accurate.
She's not she has a perspective, and she says it, which I appreciate. So, well, I like her, and she was very nice to me. Yeah, she is funny.
Not interrupt her when you're talking about her comedy.
Yeah.
Up now.
Who's your favorite comic other than
Keanu Thompson?
Oh, that is a tough one. I would have to say Peter Sellers. Mike Myers. He's pretty good.
Mike Myers? Oh my God.
Really good.
Oh.
I can't really think of one right now. I have to guess those. So speaking of that, Keanu, when what advice would you give to people who are first, wanting to start to be a comedian for the first time? Like, what advice would you give to them if they're wanting to be a comedian? And what advice would you give them not to do when they're especially becoming a comedian into the scene?
If you want to become a comedian, don't. I'm just teasing. What's the advice? Trust your judgment. Fall into the crowd that you feel comfortable with, and you cannot go by what anybody else has done. You gotta go where it leads you, not what you think, not the path other people took to be a comedian. You know what I mean? You'd have to be like in the comedy scene to sort of understand this, but whether it's if TikTok is your thing, or you're a fucking prop comic, or like Steve Conte, or you are a Jerry Seinfeld, like, what's the deal with this airplane food? Or you're Amy Schumer and you steal a bunch of jokes, or I'm teasing, and I actually love Amy Schumer. Or it just depends. Go with your gut and what makes you feel comfortable. Don't let any other comic give you some sort of cockamamie advice, because there's no real way to. It's not like being a doctor, right? You go to medical school, you get a degree.
We don't get millions of dollars from Pfizer.
You get you see. I was about to say Keanu Cast. Keanu Studios. You go to medical school, and at the end of it, if you survive it, you're a doctor. You don't enter comedy, however you enter comedy, and in the end always necessarily become a comedian. So anybody that's coming up with you, there's jealousies and insecurities. People might be giving you bad advice. So fall in with the people that you can actually trust, and just be true to yourself, I guess. Like, I'm not the comic that's ever gonna be like stone cold sort of one-liner person, but not everybody has to be that, right? And you don't need to know this person or that person. Just wherever you feel comfortable, and don't trust anybody except for when you feel that you can really trust them. Somebody that you can tell when somebody genuinely wants to help you. And that's how you get up in comedy, I think. And I'm a lowly comic, so.
What is the comedy scene like there in New York nowadays, comparing to what it was like, let's say, 20 years ago, especially with all the rise of political correctness and all the ideology that's being pushed on to people now?
That's a good question for Visconti, to be honest. What do you think?
I think it changes
I
think it changes every 20 years. So
I think even fucking.
I think every comic. I've said this, and that's why I got up, because I used to say, like, I don't think, or let me rephrase. I think like 70 years ago at the Friars Club, Red Buttons was saying to some other old guy, it's like, man, it's really changed the past 10 years. So everything keeps changing, So it kind of ties in
pre-pandemic, post-pandemic.
Well, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic is but the beauty of it is, and I'll tie it back to what you said, so it looks like we planned this. Go with your gut. I mean it, baby. Go with the people you like. Otherwise, you could get a fucking job and work. But if you're in this, you want to have fun, and you're going to be the best comedian if you're having fun, because no one is getting on stage miserable trying to make people laugh.
No, but a lot of these comics are. AKA Kevin
you know
Brennan.
what? You're exactly right.
And then
I don't get that.
But people like, or you're not. I don't think necessarily. I know so many comics that have been on Jimmy Fallon late night right now. Right, that used to be the biggest thing, to get the couch, TV, to get the couch. Right.
Yeah.
I don't even think.
But
we know so many, and that's not to disparage them. That's a huge accomplishment. I
want to disparage them, Welshman. Okay, you go. It's your chest, sir. Can I disparage? Okay.
It's not to disparage anybody that's been on late night. That's amazing. But it used to be, I guess, back in the olden days when they churned butter and Gino was doing comedy.
Do you think you'd get on late night now, though, if you spoke your mind like me and said, like, a lot of people didn't
absolutely, you wouldn't.
No, a lot of people didn't get vaccinated, and a lot of people.
Keanu Studios.
I'm just saying. a lot of the stuff we would say now.
He will come on your podcast.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened in the past 10, 20 years, 5 years, pre and post pandemic is battle lines were drawn, and clubs that isolated people because they bought the lie never apologized.
The Front Porch Conservative has something to say. Please, disparage
away.
He's a handsome son of a... I like that
love
charm.
him.
Anyway, I've said enough. Like, you know what I mean? Okay.
No, it's true. But I haven't been in it that long. But from what I can tell, there's no model. But the old model used to be
Is that a dig at me, the old model?
You are 1,000 years old, my love. Yeah, you get on Carson and you get he asks you to sit on the couch, then your career's made. Woohoo! Mitzi Shore and Pauly Shore is my favorite actor, by the way. The late Mitzi Shore.
What would you say is your favorite movie of Pauly Shore?
Oh, my Son-in-Law for sure. Son-in-Law is it's in my top 5 favorite movies. Oh my God. I met him at Caroline's.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I know. I have a picture with Pauly Shore and it was like the best thing of my life. And I've met a lot of I've met a lot of famous people. I've been on shows with a lot of famous people, but Pauly Shore, like hanging out with me, I'm such a weirdo. That was like the biggest thing ever. But like back in the day when it would be like, there's just so much content now. If you're on one of those late night shows, which obviously please put me on any late night show, and I would be perfectly fine. It doesn't necessarily, I'm here going to the top. I can think of comics like, I think of Ryan Long. Do you know Ryan Long?
Might have heard of him.
Okay. I think he's one of the funniest in the game. My God. And he's very based, very hilarious. Like, sort of like an Alex Stein. Huge fan base. Fucking hysterical. But not really, I don't know. Am I speaking out of school, or has he been on late night shows or anything?
What's that?
Ryan Long.
He's great.
No. Has he been on late night shows or anything?
He's been on a lot of big podcasts. I mean,
He was on Joe Rogan. He's just.
If I can interrupt to prove a point, that's how the model's changed. Like
the model has changed. Yes.
You confused him being on Rogan, which is so much better than being on Kimmel.
Exactly. You're right. Being on Joe Rogan is now.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. The biggest.
Far huger than being on. At least to me, I don't know, but it's everybody's lens and perspective. Like you get far more. Andrew Schultz, the cousin of our dear friend Bill Schultz, one of the most hysterical comedians too. Just not the sort of, how can I say this? Not the sort of guy that's going to be on late night TV, but has a huge fan base. Tim Dillon, one of the most hilarious comedians ever. Has he been on late night or anything like that?
But he's in the new model.
And he is rich as shit. Fucking, it's this new model of comedy, I believe. So you got to find your own way. And find, here's a Frank Pellegrino quote that always sticks in my brain. And Chrissy told me this. You have to find you have to find your fans. You have to find your fan base. It's not necessarily, there's no one on earth anymore that everyone likes. So you have to find the people that like you. That is exactly what Chrissy has done. Look at her fan base. She's huge. And the haters are even better than the people that love her. There's millions and millions of people that love her. And then the haters just pump her up more social media wise, right?
I know. It's ridiculous, some of the hate she gets from people.
Oh my God. Why? All of Malaysia. I'm getting messages from them, for Christ's sake. I hope that made any modicum of sense. But Yeah.
What is your opinion towards, that Malaysian controversial, where Chrissie Mayr, was getting in Jaslyn Chan, and what is your opinion on the controversy around that?
I love Jocelyn Chia. Oh my God. I love her. I've done shows with her. She wasn't starting when I was starting. She was sort of in the middle when I was just starting. I've been on tons of shows with her. She is the nicest, most hilarious, hardworking woman. That Comedy Cellar bit, it was a I can hear myself, I wonder. Hang on. Hello. That Comedy Cellar bit, it wasn't her first time telling that joke. Just someone she just posted it again. She was like, that's been her closer, I think she said, for 6 months or something, and it's a hilarious joke. And she's like, I'm not going to apologize for this. Why would I apologize? I'm from Singapore. I'm allowed to make a joke about this. People make 9/11 jokes constantly. Pete Davidson's dad died in 9/11. He was a firefighter. He makes jokes about it. You can't tell people they can't make jokes about things, especially. I don't understand. I had never even heard of the Malaysian plane thing at all, ever. So she's a great comic. All Chrissie did was tweet something in support of her, in support of free speech, and saying, we're comedians. She was doing her job. We're at the bachelorette party. I'm going, she's laying in the bed next to me. It was from morning till night. I said, you need to put your phone down. It was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Malaysian people. I'm getting them. I'm going I don't know how you don't read these in a ridiculous caricature of an accent.
And when you mention something, a lot of these a lot of these haters who are saying to you oh, you guys are racist. You guys don't have anything against Malaysian people. You like Malaysian people. It's just unfortunately there are just some countries out there. I'm not saying I don't hate Malaysian people. I think Malaysian people are great. It was just unfortunately just people taking it too serious. And I think people, need to learn to take a joke. But nowadays everybody just gets enraged now. Everybody just takes things too serious. They get upended by it. And it's just, and it's really sad to see that Chrissie's getting death threats. That's not a
and she's fine. She takes it like a champ. I mean, we were on tour for 2 weeks. Okay. In the height of all that God, we have the airplane debacle. Then directly after that, I think
you had the whale incident, the whale with the 2 people.
Directly after, she's like, no, I'm fine. Meanwhile, I'm thinking oh my God, I don't even know how you deal with the messages.
And then the Malaysian
thing
incident.
I can say about Chrissie is, I think we were at a White Castle after one of our shows, and it was in the height of this tour. So the Malaysian incident hadn't even happened yet or anything, and you can't even call these incidents. It's just that she's a public person, and people give her pay attention. I looked over at her and I said, "Wait," I was like, "Are you playing Pokemon Go?" I mean, you're viral right now. Where do you get the bandwidth? There's there were 30 fans around us or whatever. They bought us 100 White Castle burgers. She's viral. I think it was maybe after the airplane thing. And she's just playing Pokemon Go. I was like, that is the way you should be. But my anxiety when she's like, oh, this is something me and Frank do all the time. You are a delight. My God.
She definitely has gotten used to it. There are some people who are definitely capable of handling like a champ. Some people can, some people can't. It's just how you mentioned earlier, how if you're going to go on a stage and you're going to do comedy, big comedy is one of the hardest acts to do, because if you don't land it, you're going to fail straight away, because you got to be, someone who knows what they're doing. You've got to land that joke. And I feel like one thing Chrissie has showed, like a lot of other people do, is, for example, like there's the New Zealand rugby captain. Sorry, I have to go into sports a bit. There's a New Zealand rugby captain called Richie McCaw, and he was the captain for the All Blacks. And one thing he used to do when it came to handling haters, he would handle it very well. He would take it like a pinch of salt and just keep moving on. That's one thing Chrissie, really does good. And I think we need more of that, people who are very brave and doesn't care, what the hate mob says, because a lot of people just bow down to the hate mob, and it's just not good when that happens.
Oh no, I'm more comfortable on a stage than I am in like person. I like the social media haters more than I even like the people that are nice to you, because like who wants to hear somebody be nice to you? You're like, oh, gross, I'm disgusting. But when people are like, you look like Dylan Mulvaney, I'm like, yay. This is hilarious.
Or you don't look like him at all.
They always say that to me. I love that. That's just an example. I love the hate, but the stress of the social media aspect of it, to me, I'm like, I don't know how you deal with like maybe even just getting back to everyone or like looking at it. I don't mind any hate.
Keanu, that's good with me. So what would you say in your experience being a comedian was when you were on stage? What would you say was like the most frightening experience where you made like literally a bad joke to someone and then they got very angry with you?
Oh, Visconti, you know what I'm going to say. I will tell you right now.
That's shitty.
It was not that long ago, and I've hosted a lot in my day. So like I'll host shows so I can do crowd work like really well. So if you're the host of a comedy show, you can, so they hire you to go up first and do 10 to 15 minutes and also kind of warm the crowd up and then go up between every comic. This show I was not hosting, that's why I was like a little bit shocked. Normally I have a response if somebody heckles me, but people don't normally really heckle me. If anything, they're just speechless. If I bomb, they're more speechless or like, like, wow. Not like, oh my God, fuck you. This lady, I was doing a country club. They put me up he was in Pennsylvania. I was doing a country club. They put me in the fucking bridal suite. I was with two other male comics. And Pennsylvania, all right? And this joke is a little bit untoward. Well, yeah, it just depends on how you feel. It's not a joke about abortion necessarily. It's a joke about gender reveal parties. It doesn't go either way. But this lady, she was drunk and the lights were on and everyone was laughing, even though it was fucking 12 minutes of like nothing but laughs. Everybody was in with me, right? And then this one, because I was feeling good, I told this joke that I don't care because I will always tell that joke. I love this joke. Maybe I'll tell it to you in a second. But this woman, she raises her hand. She goes, "That's shitty. It deals with abortion in it." And I couldn't believe she stood up and raised her hand and said that. I went, and I'm an empath. I was thinking like, she goes, "That's shitty." It shook me to my bones. I was a deer in headlights. I was like, oh my God, maybe this woman's had a miscarriage or something or whatever. Then I maybe dug myself out of the hole for like the next 2 minutes, something. And then everybody afterward, everybody during the show was coming up to me like, we love that joke. She's just like a really difficult lady. We know her, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's all right. And then I go to the bar. I'm like, I need a White Claw. Her husband's sitting there. He's like, that he's got a whiskey. He's like, that's my wife. And I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he said, no. He said, no, I fucking hate her. You're bearing your soul up there and she just fucking ruined it. I'm like, dude, it's all right. Like, you don't need to get a divorce over it. It's all right. But that was a learning experience because I truly had no idea what to say because I couldn't believe she stood up and did that. Number one. Number two, it's like, I don't know, George Bush getting the shoe thrown at him. I don't know. I had no fucking idea what to do. And then afterward, I even talked to her and she was like, you don't tell that joke in this town. And I was like, well, I apologize. Your husband seemed to like it. So have fun, But my goal is never to offend anyone. My comedy is it's mostly about me. You know what I mean? So I don't really have I have a comeback for like a bachelorette party or like a bachelor party or just a drunk asshole, not some woman that raises her hand and says that's shitty at a country club. But maybe I'll come up with one. I don't know.
So, Keanu, I see in the background there, you've got like a lot of that artwork. Is that your artwork? Are you like into that? Are you into like that 1930s, 40s scene? Because, when I've watched a lot of the interviews, you kind of have a voice, that comes from like a singer from the 1930s and 40s, like one of those olden actresses.
Yeah, very, very, this someone bought for me. The other ones I do paint, but it's more what do you call it? It's more abstract. I'm not a very good painter, but yes, I do rely on the transatlantic accent. But this is my favorite story about this thing is I think it's from fucking Amazon. Somebody sent it to me. But I love her because Kumia and Kevin Brennan, our dear Kevin Brennan, they were showing my OnlyFans photos on one of their shows one time before I was dating Gino, before they Kevin knew me. He's the one that brought it up. They were showing my OnlyFans photos. So it was a photo and this one was in the back and Kumia goes, oh, well, she's got a little Art Deco back there. Like, well, at least he noticed my taste, the rest. I like pink and flamingos. I like florals and I'm not an art snob or anything. I mean, who would be my favorite artist? Do you have a favorite artist, a favorite painter?
I don't really know a lot of the names of the artists, but my favorite art, I'll have to say, I really like Orthodox Christian art. I think that's beautiful.
Ooh, okay.
I love like Roman art. I think that's lovely. Middle Eastern art is pretty cool. Yeah, just
have you
just
been to Italy?
Like, I would love to go to Italy one day. I've never been to Italy. I've been to south of France though, and I've seen I've also been to Turkey. Love a lot of the Mesopotamian, Turkey is part of that area, ancient Mesopotamia, but I love a lot of that ancient world artwork. They're so beautiful. You should definitely, you and Gino should definitely go to Istanbul one day. It's a beautiful country. Very beautiful.
Put that on our list of things to do. That is our list then. Istanbul. No, Italy. I'm Italian, but I've been quite a few times. But yeah, the Sistine Chapel, everybody in their life has to see that. I mean, oh God, there's so much beautiful art in the world.
It's a shame because Europe's not as good as it used to, but Italy's nice. Italy's very nice.
I haven't been in a long time. I love Barcelona. It's my favorite place.
If you ever get the chance, go to Milan, Italy. That's where Da Vinci's Last Supper is. And I don't know if you know it, it's amazing. Da Vinci captures that moment as the Jews are splitting the check 13 different ways. It is breathtaking.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I have seen the Mona Lisa before in France. In Paris.
I've seen the Mona Lisa, and she really does fall. And she's smaller than you would imagine. Yeah, I've been to the Louvre. I've seen that. You know who else? Okay, my favorite. Okay, I'm a big Salvador Dali fan, but the most influential artist in my life, who was not really in my lifetime, I guess. I love pop art, so obviously Andy Warhol, favorite. I mean, just what he could do with screen printing and a can of soup, I think is the coolest thing ever. Oh, Van Gogh. Yes. Bisconti loves Van Gogh. He loves Starry Night. Oh, there you go. See, I like, I can't think. Yeah, Monet. If I had like the funds of something like Monet, because I love florals and Modigliani. Yes, I know that artist too. Yeah, I guess I do like art. I know that only from the Kardashians, though. Actually, well, I know the paintings, but I only know the name because of them. I'll tell you why later. Yeah, pop art. I like florals. I like a good aesthetic. I'm in the process. I'm going to get a better microphone because I realize the fans, I know it's cute, but I need the nice one. I'll just like bejewel it or something.
You should get like a 50s, you should get like a 50s one.
That's
that
right. Like I thought this was adorable, but apparently it doesn't sound as good as everybody else's. So I think I'm going to get the nice one that everybody else has. And then I'm going to do like a pink rhinestone situation. I'm going to break down and do that. But I mean, you sound fine. You don't have a microphone on you, right?
Yeah, I just have a laptop. I just do this at a laptop. In the beginning, I was just doing it mostly on my phone because my laptop actually broke a few weeks ago, but I got a new one, which was good. So,
oh, thank God.
What time is it there? It's about 1:46 p.m. What about for you?
Oh, it's 9:46. I'm gonna cook Bisconti a steak. We eat dinner late, like Europeans. Yes, we do. And Bisconti, there's White Claw in there.
Yeah, baby, if I wanted, I'd grab it.
I know, darling.
Sounds like you
have him on your podcast. He's a ton of fun. You won't have to say a word. He'll cut you off every time.
What? Me?
That would be really cool. So before we finish up, Keanu, what's this about your cat not liking you? What's going on there?
My cat's a little spoiled. Buddy.
Gino's cat he found her in a dumpster or something.
She was
and I've known her for years. Okay. We've been together, 9 months, right? Officially.
We could have had a kid by now. We talked about
No, it's disgusting. He said we could have had a kid by now. It's repulsive. But I've known her for years, and I've been coming to your house on and off for, I don't know, 5 years.
Yeah.
You'd say. He found her in a dumpster. She only loves him. That's it. She's slightly become accustomed to me, but she only likes him.
In her defense, and I didn't know this, okay? I've always had cats that are male cats and either black cats or orange tabby cats, and they mimic their owners. I've never had a female cat. I've never had a calico. But I believe animals find you. This cat, it's too long a story, but this cat, there was an abandoned litter of cats in this place I was subletting for 4 months. I went down. I found her at 4 days old. I bottle fed her from 4 days old till she was a month, and she could eat solid foods. And this chick that's a vet, she's like, you bottle fed a calico all alone from, no other cats from when she was 4 days old. I said, yeah. And they said she's going to be a handful because they imprint on an owner. Like I did on you, baby.
They do.
Am I winning? And I'm
Say again. What's that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, a lot of stray cats too, especially when they're getting used to new owners. And it's a very cute cat. Your cat is very, very cute.
I like this guy.
She's morbidly obese, but that's fine. That's neither here nor there. I'm teasing.
But
no, she's always been mean. She doesn't like anybody but him. But when I'm not there, she's on top of him. If I even try and this morning, she scared the shit out of me. Even she'll just pounce at me and hissing. I opened the cabinet the other day. She was just in there and she was like, oh God, I'm sorry.
I saw last night in the recap video where she attacked you.
No, yeah, there's no way.
I can see it right there. I can see it right. Yeah. Oh, that is such a cute cat.
What a regal creep. This guy gets it.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, are we cool if you could get along with the cat? I'm sorry to hear that cat.
I would love it. I love animals, but like I'm a pug person. Like, do you have any pets?
I do, but bit of information. Pet? But I love pugs. Pugs are beautiful dogs. They're so
this is my Bubba. His name is Harlem.
Oh, that's so. Is that your mum's or yours?
He lives in South Carolina with my dad. But my dad we've always had pugs. Harlem is mine, but we got him during the pandemic, and I couldn't take him away from his backyard. And his brother Smash, he looks like a barnacle, like he's hideous. But Harlem is a premier pug, and he's not a city dog, but I love them. But they're sweet. They are. They'll never scratch you or like hate you. They're just the sweetest little babies. I know.
My favorite dog breed this might surprise you. I love King Charles Cavaliers. I think they're gorgeous dogs. Japanese Spits are really good. I also love Border Collies too. Pomskis are really cute too.
I love a King Charles Cavalier. That is a very upper. I shouldn't dox myself, but I do live on the Upper East Side. That is a very Upper East Side dog, and they are princesses. They are just.
I know they're adorable as puppies. Well, Gino, there you go. That's the next birthday present for Keanu.
A what?
A king? See, he doesn't listen, does he?
Cavalier?
Forget it. Just forget it, Bisconti.
I'll put one in this apartment. You know that, baby. Nope, done deal. I'm going dog shopping right now.
Yes.
Fuck the state.
Oh my God, this has been fun. Have Gino on your podcast next time. You won't get a word in edgewise, but it'll be fun.
I see what you're doing. You're throwing me
We're wrapping up, my love. Okay. All right, I'll leave you be.
So anything else you would like to say, Keanu? And where can people find you?
I have nothing else to say, but this has been so lovely. Mom, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Co-host, you're used to that.
Oh, my mom is my co-host. Sorry. Somebody said, "What a beautiful couple." That was a comment. They meant just me.
The commenter said right here, "But a beautiful couple." It's true. You guys are a very cute couple.
We are. Oh my God. And when he after he goes to hospice, then I can start dating again. He's looking at me like no, I make old jokes, but I love Bisconti to pieces. And this has been so much fun. I'm Keanu C. Thompson. Listen to Keanu Cast live at 6 Wednesdays on YouTube. Follow Keanu C. Thompson on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find the rest of my shit on there. How about that?
Well, it was a pleasure having you, Keanu. I really had a good time. Same with Gino. He's a really cool guy too. And I just want to say to everybody, thank you for watching the Welsh Republic Podcast, episode 116 today. Please, everybody, go check out Keanu Thompson on YouTube. She's very funny, very talented. Same with Gino. They're both a very cute couple. Give her a like and subscribe. Go follow her on Twitter. You'll have a great time, watching her channel. Get a good laugh out of it. And good day, everybody. Have a nice weekend. God bless you all. Take care. Bye.